This is TWiT.
Where are we right now with Windows 10?
We are at an inflection point. How's that?
Yep. You ever see the movie? Yeah.
We're in this weird place right now where we're not, they are not quite done with Redstone 5 yet, which is the build of Windows 10 that's going to come out this October or so. But we're already starting to see people testing the next release, the next feature release, which we thought would be called Redstone 6, but actually is codenamed 19H1. Rolls right off the tongue. 19H1.
Can I ask you a question about that, Mary Jo? Do you mind?
Yes.
Just the name, because I don't mean to get hung up on what is possibly the smallest detail of all, but obviously the version numbers are such that the one that came out this spring was called 1803. 18, of course, is the year. 03 is the month. The version we're working on right now that precedes the one you just mentioned, Redstone 5, is probably 1809 in keeping with previous versions. So now we've got 19H1.
Yeah.
Why?
Which I think will be called 1903 because Microsoft so far hasn't changed the thing they said like a year ago, which was we're going to, they didn't use the word RTM, but RTM, the release in March and September, right?
Yep.
So that's why it has those numbers, 1803, 1809. And I think there'll still be a 1903. But you know what? I actually like that they're changing the code name here because it's really confusing when you call something the April update, and some people don't get it until August.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
then
put
like,
another way,
why?
the April update was supposed to be completed in March and wasn't, and then didn't ship to most people until May. Right. so obviously we're going to call that thing the April update.
I know. And it's good to give it like half also because at the same time they're building Windows 10 for HoloLens and Windows 10 IoT, and those things are on a whole different time frame and schedule. Yet they're still called the spring update or the fall update or the April update, even though they're like on a whole different schedule. So I like this move to year half.
Right. So in other words, right, it's the first half of the year. It doesn't upset anybody because it's spring somewhere and fall somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
It gives them a little bit of wiggle room, right? I think maybe it was a bit of embarrassing when the 1803 release didn't ship until 1805, whatever it was. I think that might play into it. But yeah, it just kind of happened, right? They didn't really discuss the name. They just said, hey, skip ahead, guys. This is the thing. We're calling it this. And so do you think they've dropped the Redstone naming convention that has been with us for quite a while? Okay.
I do. I think Windows Central had something a few months ago where they said, we think they're going to totally drop the Redstone naming convention and go to this half thing. And they were right. That seems to be what they're going to do now. And you know what? Because the Windows client engineering team is now part of Azure, they're kind of more practical, right? Less whimsical, more like, they're thinking like, guys, people just want
definitely use less whimsy over in the Windows thing.
We could.
For sure.
We could.
Yeah, it's been a little whimsical.
Yeah, so I think they're just being more kind of like, let's just be utilitarian about this. It's a feature update. We used to call it Service Pack 1. Now we're going to call it 19H1. Here it is.
Okay.
So I do believe Redstone. I think this is going to be Redstone 5, I think, is our last Redstone build.
Well, they'll be missed.
Yeah, we get kind of used to Redstone. It was easy in headlines, right? Now you have to write Windows 10 19H1 build blah, blah, blah. And everybody's like, what is that? Right?
I feel like naming and versioning is something that Microsoft has gotten wrong with Windows for several years now. And it's just, they've created a mess, And so you have the situation, and, Mehedi does this over at my site, for example, or anyone writing for a blog, you have to call it something. So you say something like, well, Microsoft delivers the first cumulative update for the April 2018 update. And my response to that is, no, that's not what that is. It is Windows 10 version 1803. You could call it the latest version of Windows 10 if you wanted to. The name of the update is not the name of the system, and it's also not the version.
Right.
And I think I know it's kind of a weird pedantic writer thing to worry about, but I just, we're not running Windows 10, the April 2018 update. We installed the 2018 update, and we're still running Windows 10, but now it's on version 1803. And it's goofy that now now they're like 19H1 and it's like donk donk. Like seriously, how many different ways are we going to identify these things? Apparently, one more.